Shalom, my lovelies. So this is going to be me sharing part of what I channel from the Akashic records. And this has to do with a dimensional aspect of myself, which exists in another galaxy, Galaxy 7239. And I connected to this aspect of myself when I was trying to follow up about something that had happened. So this is about, I want to say a week ago, maybe a little over a week ago when this took place. And I was laying in bed and it was 3 a.m, almost on the dot. And all of a sudden these reptilian beings came in. And they didn't seem, because usually when beings just pop in my space, well, first of all, I'm always on alert anyway. But the way I have my wards and stuff set up is they can't even project themselves into my consciousness like that, let alone my space, without permission. So I was like, well, I obviously know these beings. There's some sort of portal open somewhere where I'm giving them permission to talk to me. So I started vetting them out, and they're like, we need your help in opening this particular Stargate. I'm not going to talk about which specific Stargate it was, right? That you are one of the guardians over, and I need your help to get through. And I'm like, whoa. As it sounds like something me on another dimension is responsible for. I don't know anything about this. I don't know you. And I'm not going to agree to something that I'm not conscious of at this dimensional level. And this reptilian, he was speaking for a group of them, and he was like, well, Queen, I can't remember the Queen's name, and I probably wouldn't share it anyway, even if I did. But he was like, Queen so-and-so, needs you to give us access because we have some cargo coming through this Stargate. And I was just like, well, you and the Queen respectfully are going to have to either wait until I can figure out what's going on or talk to that dimensional aspect of me, because it's a little suspicious that, beings are contacting another aspect of me that's not me at this level. I'm completely unaware of what I'm doing at that dimensional level. I could sense they were telling the truth, but I was just like, I wasn't going to agree to anything that I didn't have any understanding of. So fast forward to the following day, and I was in between doing client work and sessions, and I thought, I'm gonna tap in and see if I can get answers about this. So I energetically, reached out to those beings, and they said that it was handled, that me at that dimensional level handled it, and everything was okay, and this and that. So I didn't really probe much deeper. They did tell me more about, my job, so to speak, at that level. So then I was like, well, I'm going to get it from the horse's mouth then. I'm going to tune into this aspect of myself at this dimensional level. And I'm going to talk to this aspect of myself because we're getting some wires crossed here. I want to know what's going on. So basically, I tuned in, and I was very specific about tuning in to this very specific dimensional aspect of myself. And I'm not going to give the name of this dimensional aspect of me, but they came forward and we're like, this is me. And I started asking them questions, and they gave me information about what they want me to do and my responsibilities, and that we'd be sharing those responsibilities because I'm now vibrating at this same frequency. So I may get some lines crossed where beings may show up coming to me instead of coming to this dimensional aspect of me, and I need to know what to do if this happens. And this is because I was now vibrating at that spectrum, that energy current. So, this dimensional aspect of me gave me all this information, okay? So then I started asking questions. Well, I know what gate we're guarding, but, what type of being are you? What species are you? Where do you live? And I just started asking this dimensional aspect of myself all kinds of questions, and I started getting very specific answers, very detailed answers, which I was really happy about. And so this aspect of myself said, my species is called the Goop, and we are from Galaxy 7239. Well, first I thought that. I was like, oh, that sounds like bullshit. I must be, I don't usually trust specific names and numbers very much. But when they come through, they usually come through really specific and strong like that for a reason. So when I was done talking this dimensional aspect of myself, I checked it out, and it is a real galaxy on the other side of the Aquarius constellation. Some say other side of Virgo constellation, but it's visible behind the Aquarius constellation. And I thought it was Pegasus, but it's not. It's another constellation. And, I digress. I'm going to go back to the channeling that I had with this dimensional aspect. So this aspect, who is Goop, from the species Goop, was from the realm or the world Alor, or Alor. I'm not sure. I think it's Alor. And the province is the great city of Valmor. Now, I was actually given a glimpse of what this looked like, and I was in love. It's a water plane of existence, or for those of you that call them planets, just so you don't get confused. Anyone who's checked out my videos and both of my channels knows I don't believe in the NASA concept of planets the same way. So I'm going to say plane, but I'm really, if it helps you to understand it by, looking at it as a planet, then you can go with that. So definitely a water realm. The sky was kind of dim. It was like pink and purple. And there were these floating cities, like, that floated on the water. They weren't literally floating on the water, but they were like propped up to appear like they were floating on the water. And it was just lights everywhere. And I could sense that this was a place that was very in tune to nature. And so this dimensional aspect of myself was explaining how, they are, a hominid species that loves water, and that they're vegetarian. They actually eat exclusively sea vegetables that they, farm from under the sea sustainably. And I thought that was really cool. Now, what these beings look like is a trip, because they kind of look like little miniature elves, in a way. Or I'm trying to think of like Dobby from, Harry Potter. I think that's his name, except not with a long nose. And so I have an image that I depicted, that I drew and sketched based on what I saw. Now they have 3 fingers that are sort of stocky, small and stocky on each hand. And then their toes, they have 3 toes. And their third toe is like kind of behind, like, an ape, or, a monkey or orangutan. And then the 2 toes are in front. And they have fingernails like we do, but their toes and their fingers are like stocky, and they're sort of short and stocky. Like, this dimensional aspect of me was like 3 feet tall. No hair on the head, sort of almost a square shaped head with pointed ears, like an elf. Really big eyes that are like a yellow green. And the pupils were rectangle, but not quite slit. Kind of in between like a round pupil and a slit pupil. And then the noses were like, it was interesting because they were sort of like flat and wide and like barely above, the surface of the face. And then the lips are really small. And they had like this grayish white skin. And it's like wearing white, like a white uniform or suit with like shimmering blue outlines to it. So this is what they looked like. And I asked this dimensional aspect of myself. I was like, well, what is the general agenda of your species? And I was also asked this dimensional aspect of myself, why, at this level, I'm doing what I'm doing. And the response is that the general agenda is as gatekeepers and protecting the galaxy from hostile takeovers. There was no detail given as to what that can mean, but it pretty much speaks for itself. and gatekeepers of stargates specifically. So I thought that was really cool, and that this species started out very nomadic, like water species, but once they came out of the water is kind of what I get. They originally were in the water. Once they came out of the water and evolved as a species into like a hominid-like species, then they started, you know, moving around and eventually exploring. They're definitely at the point of being able to teleport and travel through stargates, because they themselves are often guardians of these stargates. Now, this is just one species in one realm within this entire huge galaxy that's very far from the, you know, Milky Way galaxy. So I'm sure there's many other species there, but this is what I channeled at this particular point in time. And I wanted to talk about it because I was told that this species isn't documented and isn't well documented at the very least, but I was pretty sure I heard not documented. So I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to put it out there. I, you know, wanted to start classifying, you know, lesser known species. So this is basically what happened, and I wanted to share it. And I also want to let you guys know that I am going to be working on a book where I'm going to be compiling a lot of stuff I've channeled from the Akashic records, and also other things that I've been teaching on Patreon as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Take care. Check out my website, thetantricdragoness.com, to book a private Akashic reading or any other reading. Also, Akashic portraits, consultations, shamanic journeys, starseed charts, primordial dragon fire healing, and much more. You can also subscribe to Patreon to learn how to do a lot of this yourself through various templates I've designed. Activate Diamond Consciousness, Activate the Black Flame, Journey the Underworld, Tantric Healing and BDSM, Astral Projection and Power, Shields, Cloaks, Wards, Learning Light Language, Exclusive and Premier Readings, Soul Fragment Retrieval, Advanced Ancestral Work, Creating Your Own Shamanic Sanctuary, and much more. Thanks for your support, and stay tuned for future videos.